Welcome. I'm Victoria Schneps Eunice, the publisher of the Brooklyn Home Reporter, the Brooklyn Spectator, and the Spectator News. And today, I am the hostess of Victoria's Stars. And I'm thrilled to have with us today Brother William, who is a trustee at the very wonderful St. Francis College, right here in downtown Brooklyn. Welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Thank you. So, Brendan Dugan has done such a wonderful job creating a very much community-minded school right here in downtown Brooklyn. Tell me a little bit about the community involvement with the college and the college with the community.
Well, I think two parts of Brendan's vision and success with St. Francis College is a lot of activities that are available to the neighborhood and to the people in the neighborhood free, and also the campus being available for different activities for the people in the neighborhood. So it's a very friendly campus and also some fine programs that are available, particularly for seniors in Brooklyn Heights.
Well, I know you do some senior health expos. Can you share a little bit about some of the specific things that you do in the community? For the community, I should say?
Well, as I said, there are a whole series of activities that are available regularly for seniors, including yoga and swimming, and I think things that are very much appreciated by the people in Brooklyn Heights.
Well, I think you've really become a community center to some extent.
Yes.
Because of all the programs. Because I know that there's actually a health fair, so to speak, that's held pretty regularly.
That's right. And the campus is really open to the neighborhood and to the different groups in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. And then, in terms of the programs, the kind of diverse programs that the school offers has attracted a very diverse student body.
That's right. It's a very diverse student body, and in a lot of cases, it's the first person in their family who has attended college.
Interesting.
And this is part of the history of St. Francis College from the beginning. It was always a college that dealt with the newcomers to the area, and as I said, in many cases, it was the first person in their family who were able to attend and obtain a college education.
Well, interestingly enough, your president, President Dugan, is a graduate of St. Francis, isn't he?
That's right, he is, yes, from 1968. I don't know if I am free to tell how old he is.
Well,
but,
listen, you're on the Board of Trustees, you could say anything. But I think he has the orientation and the sensitivity, because he himself, probably was a first-generation person.
That's right, exactly. He is someone who is very familiar with the college and the culture of the college and embodies that in his own life and his own success in the business world before becoming president of St. Francis College.
What did he do before? I remember that.
Banking. He was a
right.
long career in banking.
Yeah.
And that has helped the college very much also in terms of his expertise as well as his connections in the financial world.
Is there a particular area that the school likes to consider their specialist at, or does, a division, or is there a generalist education that you get?
Well, it's a liberal arts education, and the majors have changed over the years depending upon the needs of the market. Mm-hmm. So that at one time it was something that prepared people as teachers. Mm-hmm. Also over the years, accountants. There are a lot of people who have graduated from the college with their degree in accounting. And now there's a whole area of information technology and a new area in nursing. All of which are exciting for us at St. Francis College and for the students.
Well, I think it's interesting that there's been that flexibility with the changing career needs of the world. because healthcare certainly is a very important and job-oriented profession.
That's right. And hopefully the college has adapted over the years. You know, we trace ourselves back as far as 1859. And that was when the first Franciscan brothers opened what was then called an academy. But the flexibility is what has enabled St. Francis College to survive and to thrive, I feel.
Talk to me a little bit as not knowing the Franciscans order. Tell me a little bit about its orientation and how it's different than some of the other orders.
Well, we trace ourselves back to St. Francis, who lived in the late 1100s and into the early 1200s. So it's many years ago. But St. Francis was someone who had a concern for the common good, and he had a concern for the environment and all of creation. And both of those things, I think, in this day and age are very important, as they have been over the years. And we try to promote and model those values for the students and hope that they will kind of catch the spirit of St. Francis.
So you're a trustee and you're a Franciscan brother.
Yes.
Is that a career? Explain to me, how does that work in terms of that?
Well,
Oh, excuse me.
Franciscan brother, that part is a career. Trustee is just one of the roles or the responsibilities that
Or the
I have.
honors to be
Well,
chosen
yes.
to be on the trustees.
Yes, that's true, absolutely.
So what is your personal passion? What is it that you have loved about being involved with St. Francis?
Well, I too am a graduate of St. Francis,
Okay.
so I enjoyed my years as a student at St. Francis and respected the teachers that I had as a student there, and glad to contribute back to St. Francis College.
So did you study divinity, or were you studying something else that brought you to be a part of the order?
I was already a member of the Franciscan Brothers before I started my studies at St. Francis
So
College.
how old were you when you made that choice?
Well, very young, very
Interesting.
young.
Was it in the family? I mean, has it?
There were a number of people in my family over the generations that joined religious orders. So it was something that was not foreign to me, and it was something that was supported by my family and friends.
And so to me, it sounds like a calling.
Yes, I would say it is, yes.
What was it? Was there something that happened in your life that made you feel this was where you needed to be?
I think the sisters and brothers that I had met as a youngster attracted me to the life, because I saw people who enjoyed what they were doing and enjoyed each other, and I said, this is something I would like to explore. And many years later, I'm still on board.
Right, wonderful. And I know that the school is really a non-denominational school, even though there is the religious piece.
That's right.
Explain that to me.
It's a very diverse student population, and we have certainly a lot of Catholic students at the school, but we have others who are of other Christian churches, as well as Muslims. There is a large Muslim population at the school too. And again, our hope is to respect all of that diversity and have them thrive and enjoy each other and learn from each other also. It's an opportunity in that environment to learn from each other also.
Well, I think by experiencing people who are different, you do become more tolerant.
Exactly.
There's no question in my mind that that's so true. So you've really opened a world to people that may never have known of it.
That's right.
And the people who are different than themselves.
And we see the benefit of that day in and day out at St. Francis College.
Right. Now, the borough president of Brooklyn, Eric Adams, had this extraordinary exhibit come to Brooklyn Borough Hall, the St. Francis of Assisi Papers.
Yes.
Would you share with us how did it come to pass, to come here after 700 years of never leaving Italy?
I think I would have to give credit to some of the businessmen in Brooklyn who sponsored this arrival of the documents, first at the United Nations, where they were on exhibit for the month of December, and now over here in Brooklyn Borough Hall. And it's a wonderful opportunity for people to see some of these manuscripts and documents that are 700 years old. And in the United States, we think of anything that's 100 or 200 years as very old.
Right.
So 700 years is really extraordinary.
Was there a particular place in history why they were willing to let them travel?
I think it's just, again, in this day and age, an openness to want to share those documents with a wider population and a wider audience. They've always had some of them on display in Assisi in Italy, the town and the birthplace of St. Francis. But this was an opportunity to share them with a wider audience. And I think that's just part of what the Franciscans would like to do.
Well, I think, for the public and for Brooklyn to have the honor of being the place that people could
Absolutely.
come to. I think the United Nations is a little intimidating. But the setting, they took the courtroom and refigured it, took out all the benches and had the wonderful glass cases. It was an extraordinary experience.
And the glass cases were made right here in Brooklyn using recycled materials, which again was a tribute to St. Francis and his concern for the environment. So they really did their best to highlight that part of his value system, his care for creation and care for the environment.
So to understand a little more about what St. Francis stood for, you shared a little bit. Is there anything else we should know about him and his mission and his work that carries on to this day?
Well, I think, again, I go back to one of his values, the concern for the common good, and that's demonstrated through his advancement of brotherhood and peace. And again, universal values that I think are important in every generation, in every day and age, but particularly now. And I think that the other value, as I mentioned, is his care for creation, all of creation. And he is somebody who was concerned with the environment long before that became trendy, in a sense.
Well, you have your footprint there on Remsen Street.
Absolutely.
Is there any expectation that the school will go up higher or will it be expanding its footprint?
Well, I think they would like to. We're kind of bursting at the seams right now.
Because all your good programs have made you very popular.
Very popular, and Brooklyn Heights is a wonderful location for students. It's a hot neighborhood.
Right,
yes.
right. So I think, the plans for expanding programs, I think I was glad to hear about the healthcare programs and the nursing. Is something that, is a very positive thing for many students that need that training.
And it's a cooperative program with some of the hospitals in Brooklyn also. So I think that's it's timely, and because the other thing that we would like, of course, is people to graduate and also have a career and a job, and that's one of the fields that is very much in demand now.
Well, I'll tell you, we're also in demand hiring salespeople. So please send the word back that we'd like to see some marketing courses, because there's a great opportunity in those careers. But what I admire about St. Francis College is that they really prepare people for jobs.
Exactly.
And that's something to be very proud of. So I thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure. I'm happy to be here with you.
Thank you. To a wonderful new year.
To you also.
Thank
Yes.
you. I'm delighted to be able to bring to you tonight the wonderful, the one and only Marty Markowitz. You made Brooklyn, Marty.
Oh.
And you did. You put Brooklyn on the map. That's a given.
I made my contribution.
All right. Well, we think a little more than that because we think that Brooklyn became Brooklyn because of what you did. And now you're doing something to promote Brooklyn and Queens and the Bronx and Staten Island.
Well,
Tell us a little bit your new position.
well, I must tell you, first off, there were a lot of good people that made Brooklyn the envy of America.
Nobody was a better cheerleader than you.
There's no question that I played an important role, but many others did. When the history is written, I could think of folks like Bruce Ratner that deserves the accolades in so many different ways, and our civic organizations that really believed in Brooklyn during our toughest days, and rather than flee, drew the line in the sand and fought hard to preserve and enhance the quality of life. So I'm proud to share it.
Yeah.
I'm proud to share it. I would say somewhere in the 2004, 2005, somewhere around there, when we really became a mecca, a significant mecca for artists and for authors and the creative and professional young people that discovered that Brooklyn offered in many ways, I think, a better quality of life in many ways. I mean, for instance, I'm not borough president now, and I can choose to live in any borough I want. I wouldn't dream of living in Manhattan because to me, Brooklyn has everything in life and a balance. Now, that doesn't take away from Manhattan. Manhattan is sizzling and exciting, but each of the boroughs has a unique experience, unique ethnic diversity, and great cultural attraction. So the position that I am now in, since I can't be Brooklyn Borough President because of term limits, and through the assistance of our mayor, Bill de Blasio, who really was very helpful in helping me in this particular position, with a particular emphasis on promoting the boroughs beyond Manhattan.
I like the way you say that.
And it's called NYC and Company, which is New York City's official tourism agency. The thing that I kick myself about is all during those years that I was borough president, I never really appreciated what NYC and Company did. I knew they were involved in tourism, and I always felt, well, they don't care about Brooklyn, all they care about is Manhattan. But I didn't realize the depth of the work, and now that I'm there for a number of months, I'm just, every day when I go to work, I'm really in awe of the professionalism of the men and women that devote hours and hours of their lives, full-time and beyond, promoting New York. And that's why over 55 million tourists will be visiting New York City by year's end, the #1 destination in America.
Right? Yes.
#1. And the hotels are running full, and that includes Brooklyn hotels. And that's why so many more hotels are opening in Queens and in Brooklyn, and certainly a significant start in the Bronx, too, by the way. Staten Island is excited about their wheel, and they should be.
Yes.
And the Empire stores that'll be happening, not Empire stores, outlet stores, that'll be happening that I think could save us trips out to Tangas or to Woodbury. We'll be able to go right to our sister borough of Staten Island. And Queens.
Story, what did you do? Tell them what you did at one of the restaurants.
What did I do?
What were you as a maitre d'?
I was a maitre d'. Indeed, I was a maitre d'. Actually, that restaurant was in the.
Was it Astoria?
It was not Astoria. Well, maybe it's Astoria. London Lenny's, is that Astoria?
London Lenny's, no.
It's like Forest
That's considered
Hills,
right.
Kew Gardens. Kew Gardens.
No, it's
On
London Lenny's on
Woodhaven-
Woodhaven Boulevard.
Woodhaven
so
Boulevard.
we consider that the cross between Rego Park
Oh, okay, we go.
and Forest Hills.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, a great restaurant, one of the best in this city. I have to tell you that. For a
Seafood.
Brooklyn boy to tell you this, I have to tell the truth. But it's true. But it's all about really demonstrating to locals as well as nationals and internationals that there is great offerings in every borough. And it is true. By the way, I was a maitre d' in the Bronx, and I did in Staten.
So where did you go in the Bronx?
Tin Marin restaurant. tapas and things like that in Riverdale.
Oh, you went to Riverdale.
Yeah, so that
Okay.
was lovely. And Brioso's in Staten Island. I know a lot of the restaurants in Staten Island very well. And I probably know most Italian restaurants in Queens besides Brooklyn. So we all have our
We
favorites.
know you love Parkside.
But
It's
there's
okay.
no, that's okay. I have no shame. I do very, very much. And Piccolo Venezia, we can't.
Oh, yes, you can't forget them.
them. And La Contra, you know,
Oh, yes.
Trattoria. Let's not
They
forget
fight for
them.
who's first.
Let's not, you know. But whatever the case might be, the truth of the matter is, yes, it's the food, but it's also the cultural offerings and it's the ethnic diversity. All of this are reasons why tourists, once they've done their Manhattan
Yes. Tour.
then they're ready to really experience the city in its in its fullness.
Yes.
And that's what we do at NYC. It's headed by Fred Dixon, who, by the way, is a professional, came up the ranks, hotel management, and he leads the tremendous Brian Grimaldi, who happens to live in Bay Ridge, and Kelly Curtin, and so many other, Kevin Booth. I have to tell you, I work with these great professionals, and they really, really work hard. The other part of what NYC and Company does, which is very important for the economy, is pitching New York City for conventions and conferences. You know, those are
I
big.
want to go on one of those trips.
Those are.
We go overseas and we talk about how wonderful
That's right.
the other boroughs are. Let's do it.
By the way, I'm waiting to be invited too
Okay,
tomorrow.
all right. So let's put out a
But what
warrant.
they do is they go to these trips all over the world.
Right.
It's not every week. It's a couple times a year, and it's not only attracting tourists but also pitching for some of the biggest conferences in the world or in America to have them come to New York City. That's
What
why
do you think
right
the odds
now,
are we're doing the
well, we're pitching the
Democratic National Convention, right?
Convention, and I can't think of a better place than Brooklyn to be held, besides the fact that the delegates and staffs and media, which were already the media center of America, but all of that converging into Manhattan and into Brooklyn and into Queens to a degree, and Staten Island, the whole city will flourish, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Plus the pride of being in Brooklyn. And Brooklyn's story, in my opinion, is America's story. It really is, because I don't care where you go in America, you will find folks that formerly lived in Brooklyn, USA, that have gone on and made great successes in life all over this nation. And Brooklyn's story is also one about immigration. A lot of the folks that came to America in the mid to late 1800s and throughout the 20th century and 19th and 20th century came to Brooklyn first and then spread across America. And so our story is so intertwined. That's why I had a sign when I was borough president, "Welcome to Brooklyn, the heart of America." And it's true. It really is in many, many ways. Plus the mix of young and mature, wealth and poverty, we have it, and middle class and working class, we have it all. Everything is right here, and we exemplify the hopes, I believe, of the nation's population, and in my opinion, the Democratic Party that speaks to that hope. And that's why, to me, there's not even a race. Philadelphia is a nice place if you like cheesesteaks. Hey, God bless. God bless. Nice little city. Nice little city. I have to tell you that Brooklyn is the 4th largest city in America. I'm not exactly sure what number Philadelphia is, but I know that
It's
we're
not up
4th
there in the top
largest.
5.
A beautiful city. I like Mr. Rendell, but okay. And then Columbus, Ohio, I've never visited. Maybe someday I will. We certainly want them to support our nominee. I have nothing bad to say about Columbus or Cleveland. After all, that's where Bruce Ratton is from.
Okay.
And the Cunnaburra, they've done okay for themselves, and they've done great for Brooklyn. So I'm very, very excited. And tourists bring their collective experiences, and they come to New York, and they spend money, especially those that come from Brazil and England and China. And by the way, those are the trends now. The biggest trends of increases is a dramatic increase of tourists from Brazil, which is very interesting, Australia, significant, and China. And of course, China, it's endless.
A billion people?
There's no question
Potential?
that it's endless. So that's very, very exciting. Now, NYC and Company also, Vicki, besides neighborhood by neighborhood, they started Restaurant Week in America. That's the
I didn't
first
realize they
citywide
were.
Restaurant Week in this country came from NYC and Company. And of course, today we have restaurant weeks that I did in Brooklyn, and that Queens has, and little neighborhoods have, and I know the
Oh, it's
Chamber is
become a
doing
big
some.
thing
So very important.
to
But
promote business.
NYC and company really kicked it off, and they have it twice a year. Broadway Week, getting folks, especially during the slower months, to come out to Broadway, and off Broadway, which has a huge following among folks that live in the boroughs that absolutely adore off Broadway, and they do
It's
that.
very well priced, too.
So, right, very well priced, and of course the restaurants, when they have Restaurant Week, are a little more affordable, a lot more affordable. So this agency does an unbelievable amount of good work for this city, and besides our financial industry and our health industry, we can go through a number of industries. There's no question that tourism and travel-related hospitality is huge in the city.
Yeah, but I think
and
it's almost like
growing,
number
growing,
two
growing.
revenue bringer.
It's growing, 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 and there's no end in sight. And that's why hotels are needed in boroughs like Brooklyn. And I could see additional conference centers. We have, as you know, in Brooklyn, Brooklyn Expo, which is in Greenpoint, and it's doing fabulous, 25,000 plus square feet.
It's a bright light on that street.
There's no question about
I
it.
was just there yesterday, right.
Dugal's Greenhouse in the Brooklyn Navy Yard, another a wonderful facility that's attracted during Fashion Week some of the top fashion designers that chose to use Brooklyn rather than Manhattan to showcase their new styles. So my feeling is the better Brooklyn does, the better New York City does, the better Queens, the better Bronx, Staten Island, and certainly Manhattan, the better this whole city does. And that's why I'm proud to be part of this effort and to still be able to make a contribution, I hope.
And have fun?
And have fun, too. I mean, it's a life change. You understand, it's a life change. There are some positive things. My wife is happy that I'm home more.
Okay.
I don't
You like
have
keeping Jamie happy?
that's important. I don't have sleepless nights anymore, worrying about what the New York Post is going to write about me, or the other paper, the Daily News. So that's a relief in many ways. It is, and then it's the pressure that you have in public life. Now, having said that, I enjoy just about every bit of it.
I know you
And it's
did.
the profession that I wanted all my life, and I'm among the blessed in this respect, and I hope that everyone listening meets the success that I met, and I don't mean financially, which is not there. I don't mean that at all. What I mean is that your goal in life, that you should achieve your goal in life, and that's what I did, and that's what I pray for everyone in this new year.
All right, and that is Marty Markowitz telling you like it is, as he always does.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Vicki.
Marty.
Thank you for inviting me, Vicki.
This is Victoria Schneps Eunice signing off, and thank you for watching Victoria's Stars, and read about it in the Brooklyn Home Reporter, the Brooklyn Spectator, and the Spectator News. Bye.